I'm pregnant, sir.
Wait, is it my child?
She fainted at work, and when doctors revealed her pregnancy, the CEO asked, "Is it my child?" McKenna didn't faint because she was weak. She fainted because her body finally gave up fighting a truth she refused to face. One moment, she was on her knees polishing the marble floor of the Hawthorne penthouse. Quiet, invisible, just another black maid doing her job. The next, her vision blurred. Her hands slipped. Her knees hit the floor. Then nothing. If you saw someone collapse at work, would you ask what broke them or just keep walking? Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. When McKenna opened her eyes, the gold ceiling was gone. White lights replaced it. A slow beep echoed beside her. A needle was taped to her arm. A doctor stood at the foot of the bed, gripping a chart like it carried danger. McKenna tried to sit up. Her head spun. Her throat was dry. "What happened?" she whispered. The doctor didn't answer right away. She looked at the door, then back at McKenna. Before she could speak, the door opened. Not security, not a manager. Him, Cyrus Hawthorne, the billionaire who owned the building, the company, and the world McKenna cleaned every day. He walked in like the air itself moved aside for him. Tall, sharp suit, cold eyes that burned through everything they touched. McKenna's breath caught. Why was he here? The doctor cleared her throat. "You're pregnant?" she said. "About 8 weeks." McKenna's chest locked. The words didn't make sense. They couldn't. She stared at the doctor, waiting for her to take them back, to say it was a mistake. But the doctor didn't. Cyrus stood frozen at the foot of the bed, his jaw tightened, his hands clenched at his sides. Then he looked at McKenna. His voice shook when he spoke. "Is it my child?" The room went silent. McKenna's heart slammed against her ribs. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Cyrus stepped closer. "Answer me," he said, quieter this time, almost pleading. "Is it mine?" McKenna's throat burned. Tears blurred her vision, but she blinked them away. "I don't know," she whispered. Cyrus flinched like she'd struck him. "You don't know," he repeated. McKenna shook her head. Her hands trembled under the thin hospital blanket. "I don't remember," she said. Cyrus went pale. His eyes searched her face, desperate for something. Truth. Lies. Anything that made sense. "What do you mean you don't remember?" McKenna's voice cracked. "I mean, I don't remember." The doctor stepped forward, uncomfortable. "Mr. Hawthorne, perhaps leave us," Cyrus said, not looking at her. The doctor hesitated, then nodded and left the room. The door clicked shut. Silence swallowed them. Cyrus ran a hand through his hair. He turned away, paced to the window, then back to her. "How long have you worked for me?" he asked. 6 months, McKenna said. "And in those 6 months, did we ever—" "No," McKenna said quickly. "Never." Cyrus stopped. His eyes narrowed. "Then how?" McKenna's chest tightened. She didn't have an answer. She had pieces, shadows, a night she couldn't fully remember. "I don't know," she said again. Cyrus's phone buzzed. He pulled it out, glanced at the screen, and his face changed. Not anger, not confusion. Fear. He looked at McKenna, then at the door. "Stay here," he said. "Don't leave this room. Don't talk to anyone." "What's going on?" McKenna asked. Cyrus didn't answer. He walked to the door, stopped, and turned back. "If anyone asks," he said slowly, "you don't know me." Then he left. McKenna sat in the silence, staring at the door. Her hand moved to her stomach. Pregnant. 8 weeks. She closed her eyes and tried to remember, but all she saw were shadows. a voice that sounded like his, hands that felt wrong. McKenna realized in that moment the pregnancy wasn't the worst secret in the room. Someone wanted this to happen. And whoever it was, wasn't done yet. McKenna learned early how to disappear. If you move quietly, people stop noticing you. If people stop noticing you, they stop hurting you. That was how she survived. She came to America with one suitcase and no second chances. No family waiting, no safety net, just work. Her mother used to say, "Keep your head down and your hands busy. That's how you stay alive." McKenna believed her. She took any job that paid, restaurants, hotels, office buildings. She scrubbed floors until her knees ached. She wiped tables until her fingers cracked. She smiled when people spoke to her like she wasn't human. Because invisible people don't get fired. Invisible people survive. Cleaning was simple, honest, predictable, until Hawthorne Tower. The building felt different the first time she walked in. Cold, powerful, like mistakes didn't echo. They buried you. McKenna started on the lower floors. Offices, conference rooms, bathrooms that smelled like expensive cologne and ambition. She did her job. She didn't talk. She didn't complain. Then one day, her supervisor pulled her aside. "Penthouse rotation," she said, handing McKenna a new badge. No smile, no congratulations. McKenna nodded like it didn't matter, but she'd heard the stories. Cyrus Hawthorne didn't tolerate mistakes. People vanished from his life overnight. One wrong move and you were gone. No warning, no second chance. On her first day in the penthouse, McKenna was given rules. Never speak unless spoken to. Never enter the West Wing. Never touch the locked drawer in the study. And never ask about the portraits. McKenna followed every rule, except the last one, because the portraits didn't just show Cyrus. They showed someone who looked exactly like him, and that face felt wrong. The penthouse was massive, marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, art that probably cost more than her life, but the portraits were different. They hung in the main hallway, 3 of them, large, expensive frames. Cyrus stood in the center, sharp suit, calm eyes, power in his posture. Beside him was another man, same face, same eyes, same build. But the smile was different. Cyrus's smile was controlled, professional, the smile of a man who knew how to hide. The other man's smile was something else. It looked like it knew secrets. McKenna stared at it longer than she should have. "Who is that?" she whispered to herself. "You don't ask questions in this house." McKenna jumped. The head housekeeper stood behind her, arms crossed, eyes cold. "I'm sorry," McKenna said quickly. You were just leaving," the woman said. "Get back to work." McKenna nodded and walked away, heart pounding. But the face stayed in her mind. That night, while cleaning the kitchen, McKenna sensed someone behind her. "You're new." She turned. Cyrus stood there, sleeves rolled, eyes tired. McKenna's breath caught. She'd only seen him from a distance. Never this close. "Yes, sir," she said. He studied her, not her uniform, but her face. "What's your name?" "McKenna." He repeated it slowly, like the name mattered. Then he said something strange. "Don't let anyone talk to you like you're nothing here." McKenna didn't know what to say. He walked away before she could answer. That night, McKenna couldn't sleep. She thought about the portraits, about the rules, about the way Cyrus looked at her, not with cruelty, with loneliness. And loneliness in powerful men was dangerous, because lonely men reached for things they shouldn't. McKenna had no idea she was already being watched. She had no idea someone had been planning this for weeks. And the man in the portrait? He wasn't just a face on the wall. He was still alive. And he was waiting. McKenna tried not to stare at the portraits, but they followed her. Every time she walked through that hallway, she felt those eyes on her. The man beside Cyrus. Same face, same jawline, same build. But that smile, it wasn't calm. It wasn't controlled. It looked like it knew secrets no one else did. Makana couldn't help herself. One morning, while dusting the frames, she whispered to the head housekeeper, "Who is that?" The woman froze mid-step. Her face went cold, hard. "You don't ask questions in this house," she snapped. Makana lowered her gaze. "I'm sorry, you're here to clean, not to wonder, not to ask. You understand?" Makana nodded quickly, but her heart pounded. Why couldn't she ask? What was so dangerous about a simple question? That night, Makana was wiping down the kitchen counters when she felt it again. Someone watching. She turned slowly. Cyrus stood in the doorway, sleeves rolled up, tie loose. He looked tired, like the weight of the world sat on his shoulders. "You're new," he said. Makana's throat tightened. "Yes, sir." He stepped into the kitchen, eyes studying her, not her uniform, but her face. "What's your name?" "Makina." He repeated it softly, like the name mattered, like she mattered. Then he did something unexpected. He smiled. Not the smile from the portraits, not the cold, controlled smile of a billionaire, a real one. "Makana," he said again. "That's a strong name." She didn't know what to say. Cyrus walked to the counter, poured himself a glass of water, and leaned against the marble. "How long have you been here?" 2 weeks, Makina said. He nodded. "And they're treating you well?" Makina hesitated. She thought about the head housekeeper, the way she spoke to her, the way everyone looked at her like she was invisible. "Yes, sir," she lied. Cyrus's eyes narrowed slightly, like he knew she wasn't being honest. Then he said something that shocked her. "Don't let anyone talk to you like you're nothing here." Makina blinked. "Sir?" Cyrus set the glass down. "I know how people can be. I know what they think of you. Of people like you." Makina's chest tightened. "But you're not nothing," he continued. "Don't let them make you believe that." Makina didn't know what to say. She'd spent her whole life being told to stay quiet. Manams, keep her head down. To accept whatever treatment came her way. And here was one of the richest men in the world telling her she deserved better. "Thank you," she whispered. Cyrus nodded. He turned to leave, then stopped. "If anyone bothers you," he said, "you tell me." Then he walked away. Makina stood there, heart racing. That night, she couldn't stop thinking about him. Not as the billionaire who owned everything, but as a man who seemed lonely. She'd seen it in his eyes, the exhaustion, the weight, the sadness he tried to hide. Cyrus Hawthorne wasn't cruel. He was lonely, and loneliness in powerful men was dangerous, because lonely men reached for things they shouldn't. They made choices that broke people. Makina tried to push the thought away, but as she lay in her small apartment that night, staring at the ceiling, she couldn't shake the feeling. Something was watching her. Not just Cyrus, someone else. She thought about the portraits again. The man with the wrong smile. Was he real? Was he still alive? And if he was, where was he? The next morning, Makina arrived early. The penthouse was quiet, empty. She walked down the hallway, past the portraits, but this time something was different. The portrait of the man beside Cyrus had been moved. It hung at a slight angle now, like someone had touched it recently. Makina's heart pounded. She stepped closer. Then she saw it. A message, written in dust on the frame. 2 words. "I'm watching." Makina stumbled back, breath caught in her throat. She spun around, eyes scanning the empty hallway. No one was there. But someone had been, and they wanted her to know. Makina wasn't supposed to work that night, but the gala ran late. Staff was short. They called her in. She came anyway. The penthouse filled with glass, laughter, and money that didn't care who it crushed. Men in tailored suits, women dripping in diamonds. Everyone smiling like their lives were perfect. McKenna moved like air. She refilled drinks. She cleared plates. She disappeared into corners when people got too close, until a woman in silver grabbed her arm. "You people are always in the way," she hissed. McKenna said nothing. She pulled her arm free and walked away. Her chest burned, but she kept moving. She went to the study to replace a tray and froze. The locked drawer was open. McKenna's heart slammed against her ribs. She'd been told never to touch it, never to even look at it. But it was open. Papers were scattered across the desk, medical documents, lab reports. One word jumped out: DNA. McKenna stepped back, hands trembling. Why would Cyrus have DNA reports in a locked drawer? Footsteps approached. McKenna spun around. Cyrus entered the room. He saw the drawer, then her. For a second, she thought he'd fire her on the spot, but he didn't. "I know you didn't touch it," he said quietly. McKenna's breath shook. I know," he said again. He walked to the desk and closed the drawer himself. His jaw was tight, his hands clenched. "I need air," he muttered. He left the study and walked toward the balcony. McKenna didn't know why, but she followed. On the balcony, the city glowed below them. The noise from the gala faded into background hum. Cyrus stood at the railing, staring at nothing. McKenna stayed back, unsure if she should speak. "You ever feel like everyone's watching you but no one sees you?" Cyrus asked. McKenna blinked. "Every day." He turned to look at her. Really look at her. "People smile at me while planning my downfall," he said. "They shake my hand and stab me in the back." McKenna whispered, "I know." Their eyes met. For the first time, she didn't see a billionaire. She saw a man drowning in a world he couldn't trust. "Why did you follow me out here?" Cyrus asked. McKenna hesitated. "I don't know." He stepped closer. Not too close. Just enough. "You don't belong in a uniform," he said softly. McKenna shook her head. "You don't know me." "I know enough," he replied. "You've been holding your breath your whole life." Her chest tightened. She tried to step away. He didn't stop her. That made it worse. "McKenna," he said softly, "tell me you don't feel this." She didn't answer, because she did feel it, and that terrified her. Cyrus's hand hovered near her cheek, asking permission. She should have walked away. She should have said no. Instead, she stayed. The kiss was brief, careful, desperate. McKenna pulled back immediately. "No," she whispered. "This is wrong." Cyrus nodded. "I'll stop." He did. But before leaving, he whispered something that changed everything. "Meet me in the West Wing." McKenna froze. "That's forbidden." Cyrus's eyes darkened. "Then this will haunt me forever." He left. McKenna stood there shaking. She told herself to go home, to forget this ever happened, to protect herself. But 10 minutes later, she was standing in the West Wing hallway, outside a door that should never open. Have you ever trusted the wrong person at exactly the right time? McKenna's hand reached for the door handle. She didn't know what was on the other side. She didn't know this was the moment everything would shatter. She opened the door. A lamp flickered on. A man stood by the window. Relief washed through her until he turned. Same face, same eyes, different smile. A smile with teeth. "McKenna," he said smoothly. "You came." Her heart dropped. "Where's Cyrus?" she whispered. The man laughed softly. "Oh," he said. "You don't know." He stepped closer. "I'm his brother," he said. "The one he buried." McKenna backed away. "No," she breathed. He lifted his hand, revealing a ring identical to Cyrus's. "Same blood," he said. "Same face." He caught her wrist. "You don't get to walk away." McKenna tried to scream. The door clicked behind her, locked. And the last thing she remembered was his voice whispering, "This was always the plan." Makina should have walked away the moment Cyrus looked at her like that. But she didn't. The balcony was cold, silent. The city below sparkled like broken glass. Cyrus stood close, but not touching. Not yet. "You don't belong in a uniform," he said again. Makina shook her head. "You don't know me." "I know enough," he replied. "You've been holding your breath your whole life." Her chest tightened. She tried to step away. He didn't stop her. That made it worse, because when someone gives you space to run, it makes you want to stay. "Makina," he said softly, "tell me you don't feel this." She didn't answer, because she did feel it, and that terrified her. Cyrus's hand hovered near her cheek, asking permission. She should have said no. She should have turned around and walked back inside. Instead, she stayed. His fingers brushed her skin, gentle, careful, like she was something precious. No one had ever touched her like that. "This is dangerous," Makina whispered. "I know," Cyrus said. "You could ruin me." "I know," he said again, but he didn't pull away. Neither did she. The kiss happened slowly, like they both knew it was wrong but couldn't stop. His lips were warm, soft, desperate. Makina's heart slammed against her ribs. For a moment she forgot who she was, who he was. For a moment she wasn't invisible, but then reality crashed back. Makina pulled away, breathless. "No," she whispered. "This is wrong." Cyrus nodded, his jaw tightened, his hands dropped to his sides. "I'll stop," he said. He did, but before leaving, he turned back. "Meet me in the West Wing." Makina froze. "That's forbidden," she said. Cyrus's eyes darkened. "Then this will haunt me forever." He walked away. Makina stood there shaking. Her mind screamed at her to leave, to go home, to forget this ever happened. But her heart whispered something different. What if this was the one time someone saw her? Really saw her? What if walking away meant staying invisible forever? 10 minutes passed. Makina told herself she wouldn't go, but her feet moved anyway, down the hallway, past the portraits, past the rules she'd been told never to break. She stopped outside the West Wing door. Her hand hovered over the handle. This was it, the moment that would change everything. She pushed the door open. A lamp flickered on. Relief washed through her when she saw him standing by the window. "Cyrus," she breathed. He turned. Same face, same eyes. But the smile was wrong. It wasn't calm. It wasn't gentle. It was sharp, predatory. Makina's stomach dropped. "Where's Cyrus?" she whispered. The man laughed softly. "Oh," he said. "You don't know." He stepped closer. Makina backed away. "I'm his brother," he said smoothly. "The one he buried." Makina's blood ran cold. "No," she breathed. He lifted his hand, revealing a ring identical to Cyrus's. "Same blood," he said. "Same face." Makina's hand reached for the door, but he was faster. He caught her wrist. "You don't get to walk away," he said. Makina tried to scream, but no sound came out. The door clicked behind her. Locked. "This was always the plan," he whispered. Makina's vision blurred. She felt hands, strong, wrong. She struggled, but her body wouldn't fight. Something was wrong. Her legs went weak. Her mind started to fog. The last thing she remembered was his voice, calm, cold, satisfied. He'll never know. Then nothing. Makina's body hit the floor before her mind could catch up. Her vision blurred. Her limbs felt heavy. Wrong. She tried to move, tried to scream. Nothing. The man who looked like Cyrus stood over her, calm, unbothered. "Shh," he whispered. "It's already done." Makina's chest heaved. Tears burned her eyes. What did he give her? He crouched down, tilting his head like he was studying a painting. "You really thought he cared about you?" he said softly. "A maid?" Makina tried to speak. Her mouth wouldn't move. He smiled. That smile. It wasn't Cyrus's smile. It was something darker, sharper. You were so easy to fool, he continued. One kind word from him and you walked right into my hands. McKenna's mind screamed, run, fight, do something, but her body wouldn't obey. I'm his brother, the man said, the one he buried, the one he pretended didn't exist. He stood, pacing slowly around her. Cyrus thinks he can erase people, he said, but I'm still here, and now you're going to help me destroy him. McKenna's breath shook. Destroy him? You see, the man continued, Cyrus has everything, the company, the money, the power, but me, I got nothing. He stopped in front of her, so I'm taking it back, piece by piece, starting with you. McKenna's tears fell silently. He knelt down again, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Don't worry, he whispered. You won't remember most of this. Her vision started to fade. No, no, no. When you wake up, he said, you'll think it was him. You'll think Cyrus did this to you. McKenna's heart shattered, and when the truth comes out, he continued, it'll destroy him. The last thing she saw was his smile. Cold. Victorious. Then, nothing. When McKenna woke, the room was different, softer, cleaner. She was lying on a bed, a guest room. Her uniform was folded neatly on a chair, like someone cleaned up after her. McKenna's chest tightened. She sat up slowly, head pounding. What happened? She remembered the balcony, the kiss, the west wing, but everything after that was fog, shadows, hands, a voice. But whose voice? McKenna stood on shaking legs. She grabbed her uniform and dressed quickly. Her body felt wrong, used. She looked at herself in the mirror. Her eyes were red, her face pale. Something terrible happened, but she couldn't remember. McKenna left the room quietly. She didn't see anyone, didn't hear anyone. She walked out of the penthouse and never looked back. She told herself she'd forget, she'd move on, but she couldn't, because deep down she knew someone hurt her, and whoever it was, wasn't done yet. Weeks passed. McKenna tried to bury it, tried to pretend it never happened, but then the nausea began. The dizziness, the exhaustion, and now lying in a hospital bed with Cyrus staring at her, the truth crashed down. Is it my child? Cyrus asked. McKenna's throat burned. I don't know, she whispered, because she didn't. She remembered a face, a voice, a smile. But was it Cyrus? Or was it the man who looked exactly like him? Some betrayals happen in silence. Would you speak up if no one believed you? McKenna stared at Cyrus. Your brother, she whispered. Cyrus went completely still. Which one? He asked quietly. McKenna froze. Which one? There was more than one. And Cyrus's face told her the truth was darker than she imagined. McKenna didn't remember everything. That haunted her. She remembered fear. She remembered his cologne, sharp, expensive, wrong. She remembered struggling. Then nothing. When she woke in that guest room, her uniform folded neatly beside her, she knew something terrible had happened. But she had no proof, no witnesses, no memory. Just the feeling that her body had been invaded. McKenna ran. She didn't report it, didn't tell anyone, because she knew the truth. A black maid accusing a billionaire's family? No one would listen. They'd call her a liar, a gold digger, someone looking for a payout. So she buried it. She went back to work the next day like nothing happened. She avoided the West Wing, avoided Cyrus, avoided the portraits. She became invisible again, but her body wouldn't let her forget. 2 weeks later, the nausea began. She threw up every morning. Her head spun. Her chest felt tight. She told herself it was stress. Then the exhaustion hit. She could barely stand through her shifts. Her hands shook. Her vision blurred. One morning, she fainted in the bathroom. She didn't go to the hospital then. She was terrified of what they'd find. But the symptoms didn't stop. They got worse. Until the day she collapsed in the penthouse. Until the doctor said the words that shattered her world. "You're pregnant. About 8 weeks." Now, lying in the hospital bed, staring at Cyrus, McKenna felt everything crash down. "Is it my child?" Cyrus asked, voice shaking. McKenna's throat burned. "I don't know," she whispered. Cyrus flinched like she'd struck him. "What do you mean you don't know?" McKenna's hands trembled. "I mean, I don't remember," she said. Cyrus went pale. "Remember what?" McKenna's voice cracked. "The night, the West Wing. I don't remember all of it." Cyrus stepped closer, eyes wide. "What happened in the West Wing?" McKenna's chest heaved. "Someone," she started, then stopped. Cyrus's jaw tightened. "Who?" he demanded. McKenna looked at him. "Your brother," she whispered. Cyrus froze. The room went silent. Then he spoke, voice low and dangerous. "Which one?" McKenna's heart stopped. "Which one?" she repeated. Cyrus's face was stone. "I have more than one brother," he said quietly. McKenna felt the floor drop out from under her. "How many?" she whispered. Cyrus exhaled sharply. "3 of us," he said. "Triplets." McKenna's breath caught. Triplets. 3 men with the same face, the same voice, the same hands. "They're supposed to be gone," Cyrus muttered. "I erased them." McKenna stared at him. "Erased them?" Cyrus ran a hand through his hair. "They were dangerous," he said. "Reckless. They wanted to destroy everything I built." "See," he looked at her, eyes dark. "So, I cut them out, paid them off, made them disappear." McKenna's voice shook. "But one of them came back." Cyrus nodded slowly. "If he's here," he said, "you're in danger." McKenna's hands moved to her stomach. "And the baby?" Cyrus's jaw clenched. "We need a test. That question again. Is it mine?" McKenna felt the weight of it crush her. This baby wasn't a blessing. It was evidence. Evidence of something she couldn't even remember. Cyrus pulled out his phone. "I'm arranging protection," he said. "A driver. A nurse. You're leaving this building today." McKenna blinked. "You're firing me?" "I'm protecting you," Cyrus said. "By throwing me away?" His jaw tightened. "By keeping you alive." McKenna's chest burned. "And the baby?" she asked again. "What happens if it's not yours?" Cyrus looked away. "Then we find out whose it is," he said quietly. McKenna's heart broke. She realized in that moment, he didn't trust her. He didn't believe her. He thought she was lying, scheming, playing games. McKenna stood, legs shaking. "I'm leaving," she said. Cyrus reached for her. "McKenna, don't," she said. "Don't touch me." She walked to the door. Cyrus called after her. "If you leave, I can't protect you." McKenna turned back, tears in her eyes. "You never protected me before." Then she left. And behind her, Cyrus realized too late. Letting her go might be the worst mistake of his life. McKenna walked out of that hospital room and didn't look back. Her legs trembled, her vision blurred with tears. But she kept walking. Cyrus called after her, but she didn't stop. She was done being invisible. Done being used. Done waiting for someone to save her. Outside, the cold air hit her face. She took a shaky breath and kept moving. She had nowhere to go. No family. No savings. But she had herself. And right now, that was enough. Cyrus stood in the hospital hallway, frozen. He wanted to run after her, but his feet wouldn't move. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He opened the message. "You let her walk away. Good. Makes this easier." Cyrus's blood ran cold. He dialed security immediately. "Find her," he barked. "Now." But McKenna was already gone. She took the subway to her tiny apartment. The lights flickered when she turned them on. The walls were thin. The heat barely worked. But it was hers. She sat on the edge of her bed, hands on her stomach, pregnant. 8 weeks. She didn't know if it was Cyrus's. She didn't know if it was his brother's. She didn't even know which brother. All she knew was that this baby was growing inside her, and no one, not Cyrus, not his brothers, not anyone, would take that choice away from her. Makina closed her eyes. She thought about the West Wing, the locked door, the man who looked like Cyrus but wasn't. She thought about the fog, the fear, the feeling of being trapped. Then she thought about Cyrus, the way he looked at her on the balcony, the way he kissed her. Was any of it real? Or was she just a pawn in a game she didn't understand? Walking away when you deserve better. Have you ever had to do that? 3 days later, Makina's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something told her to pick up. Hello? Silence. Then a voice. Calm. Cold. You should have stayed quiet. Makina's heart slammed. Who is this? The voice laughed softly. You don't remember me? He said. I'm hurt. Makina's hands shook. What do you want? I want you to disappear, he said simply, before you ruin everything. Makina's breath caught. I'm not going anywhere. The voice darkened. Then you'll regret that choice. The line went dead. Makina stared at her phone, heart pounding. She wasn't safe. She'd never been safe. That night, Makina couldn't sleep. She kept the lights on, locked every door, checked every window, but the fear didn't leave. At 2 a.m., her phone buzzed again. A text from Nia, her only friend. Call me. Now. Makina's chest tightened. She dialed immediately. Nia? Makina. Nia's voice was shaking. You need to come here, right now. What's wrong? I found something, Nia said. Something you need to see. Makina grabbed her coat. I'm coming. Nia lived in a church basement, small, safe, warm. When Makina arrived, Nia pulled her inside and locked the door. Sit, Nia said. Makina sat. Nia handed her a phone. The night you came to me crying, Nia said. You sent me a voice note. Makina froze. I did, Nia nodded. You don't remember? Makina shook her head. Nia pressed play. Makina's own voice filled the room, shaking, terrified. Nia, if you get this, something's wrong. I thought it was Cyrus, but it wasn't. It sounded like him. It looked like him. But it wasn't. If anything happens to me... The message cut off. Makina's hands flew to her mouth. I sent that, she whispered. Nia nodded, tears in her eyes. You were terrified, Makina. You knew something was wrong. Makina stared at the phone, her own voice, her own warning. She'd tried to tell someone, but she didn't remember. What do we do? Nia asked. Makina's jaw tightened. We find proof, she said. Nia frowned. Proof of what? That it wasn't Cyrus, Makina said. That someone set this up. Nia leaned forward. How? Makina thought for a moment. Then her eyes widened. The security footage, she whispered. Nia's breath caught. The West Wing has cameras. Makina nodded. If I can get that footage, you'll have proof, Nia finished. Makina stood. Then we're going back. Nia grabbed her arm. Makina, that's dangerous. I know, Makina said, but I'm done running. Nia stared at her. Then she nodded. Then we do this together. Makina's chest tightened with something she hadn't felt in weeks, hope. But as they planned their next move, neither of them saw the message that just came through on Makina's phone, from the same unknown number. I'm watching you. Makina stood in Nia's small kitchen, hands shaking as she replayed the voice note for the third time. Her own voice. Terrified. Warning. It wasn't him. It sounded like him. It looked like him. But it wasn't. Makina's chest tightened. She'd known. Somewhere deep inside, even through the fog, she'd known. I don't remember sending this, McKenna whispered. Nia sat across from her, eyes wet. You called me that night, Nia said. You were crying. You kept saying something was wrong. Then the line went dead. McKenna's hands flew to her mouth. Why didn't I remember? Maybe you blocked it out, Nia said softly. Trauma does that. McKenna shook her head. Or maybe someone made me forget. Nia's eyes widened. You think he drugged you? McKenna nodded slowly. I remember feeling dizzy, heavy, like my body wasn't mine. Nia reached across the table and grabbed McKenna's hand. Then we prove it, she said firmly. McKenna looked at her. How? Nia's jaw tightened. Security footage. McKenna's breath caught. The West Wing has cameras, Nia continued. If we can get that footage, we'll have proof, McKenna finished. They sat in silence for a moment. Then McKenna spoke, voice steady. We're going back. Nia's eyes sharpened. When? Tonight, McKenna said. Nia nodded. Then we do this together. For the first time in weeks, McKenna didn't feel alone. That night, they planned everything. Nia knew someone who worked security at Hawthorne Tower. He owed her a favor. He'll get us in, Nia said, but we only have 10 minutes before someone notices. McKenna nodded. 10 minutes is enough. They arrived at Hawthorne Tower just after midnight. The building loomed above them, dark and cold. McKenna's heart pounded. The last time she was here, she collapsed. The last time she was here, her life shattered. Nia squeezed her hand. You don't have to do this. McKenna shook her head. Yes, I do. They entered through a side door. Nia's contact met them in the stairwell. Security office is on the 3rd floor, he said. I disabled the cameras in the hallway. You have 10 minutes, maybe less. Nia nodded. Thank you. He left without another word. McKenna and Nia moved quickly through the empty building. The security office was small. Screens covered every wall. Dozens of cameras. Dozens of angles. McKenna's hands shook as she sat at the computer. What date? Nia asked. McKenna closed her eyes, thinking. 8 weeks ago, she whispered. The night of the gala. Nia typed quickly. The footage loaded. McKenna's breath caught as she saw herself on screen. Walking down the hallway. Alone. Nervous. Then the West Wing door opened. A man stepped out. Tall, sharp suit, same face as Cyrus, but McKenna's stomach dropped. That's him, she whispered. Nia leaned closer. Are you sure? McKenna nodded. Look at his jaw. Nia zoomed in. A faint scar ran along his jawline. Cyrus didn't have that scar. It's not Cyrus, Nia breathed. McKenna's chest heaved. Minutes later, another figure appeared on screen. Cyrus, running down the hallway. Too late. McKenna covered her mouth. He tried to stop it, she whispered. Nia's eyes widened. McKenna. He knew, McKenna said, voice breaking. He knew his brother was there. Nia grabbed the footage and downloaded it onto a USB drive. We have proof now, she said. McKenna nodded, tears streaming down her face. This changes everything. They left the building quickly, hearts pounding. Back in Nia's apartment, McKenna stared at the USB drive. What do we do with it? Nia asked. McKenna's jaw tightened. We show Cyrus. Nia frowned. You trust him? McKenna shook her head. No, but he deserves to know the truth. Nia hesitated. And if he doesn't believe you? McKenna's voice was firm. Then I go to the police. Nia nodded slowly. Okay, but we do this smart. We don't go alone. McKenna agreed. But as they planned their next move, McKenna's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She opened the message. You think a video will save you? McKenna's blood ran cold. Another message came through. I'm always watching. Then a photo of McKenna, standing outside Nia's apartment. right now. McKenna's hands shook. Nia, she whispered. Nia looked at the phone and went pale. He's here. They both ran to the window. A figure stood across the street. Same face, same build. But this time he wasn't hiding. He smiled, then he disappeared into the shadows. McKenna and Nia didn't sleep that night. They couldn't. Someone was watching. Someone knew exactly where they were. We need to move, Nia said, packing a bag. McKenna nodded, hands shaking. But before they could leave, McKenna's phone rang. Unknown number, she answered. Hello? Silence, then a voice. Calm, cold. You found the footage? McKenna's heart stopped. Who is this? The voice laughed, softly. You already know. McKenna's chest tightened. What do you want? I want you to understand something, he said. That video won't save you. It'll only make things worse. McKenna's jaw clenched. I'm not scared of you. You should be, he replied. Because I'm not the only one watching. The line went dead. McKenna stared at her phone. We need to go to Cyrus, she whispered. Nia frowned. Are you sure? McKenna nodded. He needs to see this. They left immediately. The drive to Hawthorne Tower felt like forever. McKenna clutched the USB drive in her hand. This was it. The proof she needed. The truth she'd been searching for. They arrived just after dawn. The lobby was empty. Cold. McKenna walked to the front desk. I need to see Cyrus Hawthorne. The receptionist looked up, unimpressed. Do you have an appointment? McKenna's voice was firm. Tell him McKenna is here. He'll see me. The receptionist hesitated. Then she picked up the phone. Minutes later, the elevator doors opened. Cyrus stepped out, his eyes locked on McKenna. Relief, fear, guilt, all at once. McKenna, he breathed. She held up the USB drive. We need to talk. Cyrus nodded. Come with me. They went to his office. Private. Quiet. Nia stayed close to McKenna's side. Cyrus closed the door. What's on that drive? He asked. McKenna's voice shook. The truth. She handed it to him. Cyrus plugged it into his computer. The footage played. The hallway. The West Wing. The man with the scar. Cyrus's face went pale. That's not me, he whispered. McKenna nodded. I know. The video continued. Moments later, Cyrus appeared on screen. Running. Desperate. Too late. Cyrus's hands clenched into fists. I tried to stop him, he said, voice breaking. I knew he was back. I just didn't know he'd find you. McKenna's chest tightened. You knew he was dangerous? Cyrus nodded. I thought I buried him. I thought I erased them all. He looked at her, eyes red. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have warned you. I should have protected you. McKenna's throat burned. Why didn't you? Cyrus's voice cracked. Because I didn't think he'd come after you. I thought... He stopped. I thought if I kept you at a distance, you'd be safe. McKenna's tears fell. But I wasn't. I know, Cyrus said, and I'll never forgive myself for that. Truth hidden in shadows. Would you risk everything to bring it to light? McKenna wiped her tears. I need to know something, she said. Cyrus nodded. Anything. The baby, McKenna whispered. Is it yours? Cyrus's face fell. I don't know, he said honestly, but I'll take the test, and whatever the result, he stepped closer. I'll stand by you. McKenna's breath caught. Why? Cyrus's voice was soft. Because you deserve better than this. Better than me. For the first time, McKenna saw him. Not the billionaire. Not the CEO. Just a man who'd made terrible mistakes. Before McKenna could respond, Cyrus's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and froze. What is it? McKenna asked. Cyrus turned the phone toward her. A message. Unknown number. You showed her the wrong brother. McKenna's blood ran cold. What does that mean? She whispered. Cyrus's jaw tightened. It means there's still someone else. Makina's heart pounded. How many brothers do you have? Cyrus exhaled sharply. 3 of us. Triplets. Makina's knees weakened. And you've only seen one? Cyrus nodded. The one with the scar. Makina's voice shook. Then who sent this message? Before Cyrus could answer, the office door opened. A man walked in. Same face, same eyes, same build, but no scar. He smiled, calm, controlled. Hello, Makina, he said softly. Makina stumbled back. Cyrus stepped in front of her. Get out, he growled. The man laughed. I don't think so. He held up his phone. I've been watching this whole time. Makina's chest heaved. You planned everything. The man nodded. Every single moment. Cyrus lunged forward, but the man was faster. He pulled out a gun. Don't, he said calmly. Makina screamed. Cyrus froze. The man smiled wider. Now, he said, let's talk about that baby. The gun didn't waver. Makina's heart slammed against her ribs. Cyrus stood frozen, hands raised. The man with no scar smiled calmly. Put your hands down, Cyrus, he said. This isn't about you. Cyrus's jaw clenched. Then what is it about? The man's eyes shifted to Makina. Her. Makina's breath caught. You don't know me, she whispered. The man laughed softly. Oh, but I do. I know everything about you, Makina. He stepped closer. I know you came to this country with nothing. I know you worked 3 jobs just to survive. I know you clean floors for men who don't even see you. Makina's chest tightened. And I know, he continued, that you walked into the West Wing looking for him. He gestured toward Cyrus. But you found my brother instead. Makina's knees weakened. You planned this, she whispered. The man nodded. Every single moment. Cyrus stepped forward. Put the gun down. The man's smile faded. No. Cyrus's voice darkened. I said put it down. The man's finger moved to the trigger. Or what? You'll call security? They work for me now. Cyrus froze. What? The man laughed. You really thought you erased us? You really thought we'd just disappear? He shook his head. We've been here the whole time, Cyrus. Watching. Waiting. Planning. Makina's voice shook. Why me? The man turned to her. Because you're invisible, he said simply. No one would believe you. No one would care. Makina's tears fell. But you were wrong, she said. I have proof. The man's smile returned. The footage? He pulled out his phone. Already deleted. Makina's heart dropped. No, she breathed. The man nodded. Every copy, every backup, gone. Nia's voice came from the doorway. Not every copy. The man spun around. Nia stood there, phone in hand. I uploaded it to the cloud, she said, and sent it to 3 different lawyers. The man's face went pale. You're lying. Nia smiled. Try me. For the first time, the man's calm cracked. His hand shook. Cyrus lunged. The gun fired. Makina screamed. But the bullet hit the wall. Cyrus tackled the man to the ground. The gun slid across the floor. Makina grabbed it with shaking hands. Security burst through the door. Real security this time. They pulled the man off the ground, cuffing him. He didn't fight. He just smiled at Makina. This isn't over, he whispered. Then they dragged him away. Makina collapsed into a chair, hands shaking. Cyrus knelt beside her. Are you okay? Makina shook her head. No. Cyrus's hand hovered near hers. I'm sorry, he said. I should have. Don't, Makina interrupted. Just don't. She looked at him, tears streaming. You knew he was back. You knew they were dangerous. But you didn't warn me. Cyrus's voice cracked. I thought if I kept you away, you'd be safe. But I wasn't, Makina said. And now I'm pregnant with a baby I don't even know is yours. Cyrus's face fell. We'll take the test, he said quietly. And whatever it says, it doesn't matter, Makina interrupted. Cyrus blinked. What? Makina's voice was firm. This baby is mine. Not yours. Not his. Mine. Cyrus nodded slowly. You're right, he stood. But I'll still help you. In whatever way you need. Makina looked at him. For the first time, she saw him clearly. Not as the billionaire who owned everything, but as a man who'd lost control of his own life. I need space, she said. Cyrus nodded. I understand. Makina stood and walked toward the door. Nia followed. But before they left, Cyrus called out, Makina. She turned. Thank you, he said, for not giving up. Makina's chest tightened. She didn't respond. She just left. Outside, the sun was rising. Nia put her arm around Makina. You did it, she said. Makina nodded. Yeah. But as they walked away, Makina's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her blood ran cold. She opened the message. 1 down. 2 to go. Makina's hand shook. Nia, she whispered. Nia looked at the phone. What does that mean? Makina's voice trembled. It means the brother they arrested, she swallowed, wasn't the one who hurt me. Nia's eyes widened. Then who was? Makina stared at the message. Then another one came through. A photo of the man they just arrested, standing beside another man. Same face, but different eyes. And beneath the photo, a single line. You got the wrong one. Makina stared at the photo on her phone. 2 men. Same face. Different energy. You got the wrong one. Her hands trembled. Nia grabbed her arm. Makina, we need to go back. No, Makina whispered. We need to figure out who's who. Before Nia could respond, Makina's phone rang. Video call. Unknown number. Makina's heart pounded. She answered. A face appeared on screen. Same eyes, same jawline, but this smile was different, calm, controlled, terrifying. Hello, Makina, he said softly. Makina's breath caught. Who are you? The man tilted, his head. I'm the one who planned everything. Makina's chest tightened. You're lying. Am I? He asked. Then tell me, who do you think hurt you that night? Makina's throat burned. The man with the scar, the man on screen, laughed. Wrong. Makina's blood ran cold. What? My brother didn't touch you, he said calmly. I made sure someone who looked like Cyrus did. Makina's knees buckled. Nia caught her. But the footage, Makina started, shows exactly what I wanted you to see. He interrupted. He leaned closer to the camera. You arrested the wrong brother, Makina. The one you saw in the footage? He was just the distraction. Makina's vision blurred. Then who? The third one, he said simply. The one no one knows about. Nia's voice shook. How many of you are there? The man smiled. 3 of us, triplets. He held up 3 fingers. Cyrus, the golden child, the one who got everything. He lowered 1 finger. My brother with the scar, the muscle, the enforcer, another finger down. And me, the mastermind. Makina's heart slammed. Why? She whispered. The man's smile faded. Because Cyrus took everything from us. His voice hardened. Our father left the company to him. Just him. Like we didn't exist. Makina's chest heaved. So you used me? Yes, he said without hesitation. You were convenient, invisible, perfect. Tears streamed down Makina's face. You ruined my life. The man shrugged. I exposed the lie your life was built on. Evil doesn't always announce itself. It smiles. Would you recognize it in time? Makina's hands clenched. Where are you? The man laughed. Closer than you think. The screen went black. Makina's phone buzzed immediately. A message. Turn around. Makina's blood froze. She spun around. A car sat across the street. Windows tinted. Engine running. Nia grabbed Makina's arm. We need to go, now. They ran. The car followed. McKenna's heart pounded as they turned down an alley. The car stopped. A door opened. Footsteps echoed behind them. McKenna didn't look back. They burst onto the main street. People, traffic, safety. McKenna's chest heaved as she looked back. The alley was empty. No car, no footsteps, just silence. Nia's voice shook. He's playing with us. McKenna nodded. We need to get to Cyrus. They took a cab back to Hawthorne Tower. Cyrus was still in his office, pacing. When he saw McKenna, relief washed over him. Thank God, he breathed. McKenna held up her phone. We got the wrong brother. Cyrus froze. What? McKenna showed him the video. Cyrus watched, face draining of color. No, he whispered. No, no, no. He ran a hand through his hair. If he's still out there, he is, McKenna said, and he's not hiding anymore. Cyrus's jaw tightened. Then we end this. Now, he picked up his phone. I'm calling everyone, lawyers, security, police. McKenna grabbed his arm. He said there are 3 of you. Cyrus nodded. There are. Then where's the 3rd one? Cyrus's face went pale. I don't know. McKenna's voice shook. Cyrus, if you don't know where he is... Before she could finish, the lights went out. Complete darkness. McKenna's heart stopped. Nia screamed. Then a voice echoed through the office. Calm, familiar. I told you I was closer than you think. McKenna's blood ran cold. The emergency lights flickered on. A man stood in the doorway. Same face, same build, but no scar. And his smile. It was the smile from the video. Hello, brother, he said to Cyrus. Then his eyes shifted to McKenna. And hello, McKenna. He stepped into the room. Let's finish this. Security rushed in, but the man was already gone. Vanished like smoke. Cyrus stood frozen, jaw clenched. He was here, he whispered. In my building. McKenna's hands shook. He's not hiding anymore. Cyrus turned to her, eyes dark. Then we do the test. Now. McKenna blinked. What? The DNA test, Cyrus said. We end the question tonight. McKenna's chest tightened. Cyrus, please, he interrupted. I need to know. McKenna looked at Nia. Nia nodded slowly. Okay, McKenna whispered. 2 hours later, they sat in a private lab. Silent, cold, clinical. The nurse drew McKenna's blood first, then Cyrus's. Results in 3 hours, the nurse said. 3 hours felt like forever. They waited in a back room. Cyrus paced. Nia sat beside McKenna. McKenna stared at the wall, hand on her stomach. This baby. This life growing inside her. She didn't know if she wanted it to be Cyrus's or if she was terrified it wasn't. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. McKenna's blood ran cold. You can still walk away. Another message. If the baby is his, I ruin him. Then another. If it's not, I ruin you. McKenna's hands trembled. Cyrus saw her face change. What is it? She showed him the screen. Cyrus's jaw tightened. He wants you scared. I am scared, McKenna whispered. Cyrus knelt in front of her. Whatever that test says, he said quietly. You won't face it alone. McKenna's eyes filled with tears. You don't know that. Yes, I do, Cyrus said firmly. Nia squeezed McKenna's hand. We're here, all of us. McKenna nodded, but her chest still felt tight. Another message came through. Tick-tock, McKenna. Then a photo of the lab, right now. McKenna's heart stopped. He's watching, she breathed. Cyrus stood immediately. Security won't help, McKenna interrupted. He's always one step ahead. Cyrus's fists clenched. Then we move faster. Minutes felt like hours. McKenna's phone buzzed again. Another message. Last chance. Disappear. McKenna stared at it. For a moment, she considered it. Running, hiding, starting over somewhere far away. But then she looked at Naya, at Cyrus, at the life growing inside her. She'd been invisible her whole life. She wasn't going back to that. McKenna deleted the message. The lab technician returned, envelope in hand. "Results are in," she said. The room went silent. McKenna's heart slammed against her ribs. Cyrus stood beside her. Not too close, but close enough. The technician handed the envelope to McKenna. Her fingers hovered. This paper could destroy a billionaire or erase her existence. "Do you want me to open it?" Nia asked softly. McKenna shook her head. "No, I need to." She took a breath and opened it. Her eyes scanned the page. Once, twice. Her breath caught. Cyrus waited, silent, rigid. Finally, McKenna whispered, "It says, partial match." Cyrus frowned. "What does that mean?" The technician stepped forward. "The child shares DNA with the Hawthorne bloodline," she explained carefully, "but not with Cyrus directly." Silence exploded in the room. McKenna's knees nearly buckled. Cyrus exhaled sharply. "It's one of them," he muttered. "Not me." McKenna felt both relief and terror collide. "I'm not yours," she whispered. Cyrus looked at her. "No," he said, "but you're still under my protection." The technician added, "There's something else." McKenna's heart dropped. "What?" "The DNA shows genetic tampering." Cyrus went still. "What does that mean?" The technician's voice was careful. "Someone altered samples. Someone wanted confusion." McKenna's blood ran cold. "This wasn't an accident," she breathed. Cyrus's jaw tightened. "No," he said. "It was a weapon." McKenna looked down at her stomach. Her child wasn't a mistake. It was evidence. And now they had one chance to expose the truth, before the Hawthorne name buried them both. McKenna's phone buzzed one last time. She opened it with shaking hands. A video message. The third brother's face filled the screen. Smiling. "Congratulations, McKenna," he said softly. "You just proved exactly what I needed." McKenna's chest heaved. "The baby is Hawthorne blood," he continued, "which means Cyrus can't deny involvement." He leaned closer, and now the world will watch him fall. The video ended. McKenna stared at the screen. "He planned this," she whispered. "All of it." Cyrus's voice was low, dangerous. "Then we end him. Tonight." McKenna stared at the DNA report like it might explode. Partial match, Hawthorne blood, but not Cyrus. Her hands trembled as reality crashed down. "Someone tampered with this," the technician repeated. The genetic markers were altered. Cyrus's voice was ice. "Who would have access to do that?" The technician hesitated. "Someone with medical knowledge. And money." McKenna's chest tightened. "He planned every step," she whispered. Cyrus turned to her. "Which brother did this?" McKenna shook her head. "I don't know. But the test proves one thing." She looked down at her stomach. "This baby is evidence." Cyrus's jaw clenched. "Evidence of what?" "That someone used my body as a weapon," McKenna said, voice breaking. "Against you. When your body becomes evidence, silence becomes complicity. Share this if you understand." Nia stepped forward. "Then we take this to the police. Now." Cyrus shook his head. "The police won't help. My brothers have connections everywhere." McKenna's eyes widened. "Then what do we do?" Cyrus's voice was firm. "We expose them publicly, before they can spin the story." McKenna's heart pounded. "A press conference?" "Yes," Cyrus said. "Tomorrow morning. We tell the truth before they can bury it." McKenna looked at Nia. "Can we trust him?" Nia studied Cyrus, then nodded slowly. "I think so." McKenna turned back to Cyrus. "If I do this," she said, There's no going back. Cyrus met her eyes. I know. My life will be destroyed. I'll protect you, Cyrus said. You couldn't protect me before, McKenna shot back. Cyrus flinched. You're right, he said quietly. But I'm trying now. McKenna took a breath. Okay, we do the press conference. Cyrus nodded. I'll arrange everything. They left the lab in silence. Outside, the night was cold. Dark. McKenna pulled her coat tighter. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her blood froze. You think a press conference will save you? Another message. I own the media. Then another. Speak and I'll destroy everything you love. McKenna's hands shook. She showed. Cyrus. His face darkened. He's bluffing. Is he? McKenna whispered. Cyrus didn't answer, because they both knew the truth. Money bought silence, and the Hawthorns had endless money. That night, McKenna couldn't sleep. She stayed at Naya's apartment, door locked, lights on, but the fear wouldn't leave. At 3 a.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. McKenna almost didn't answer, but something told her to. Hello? Heavy breathing. Then a voice. McKenna. Her heart stopped. Who is this? You know who, the voice said. It sounded like Cyrus, but wrong. I'm calling to give you one last chance, he said calmly. For what? To disappear, he said. I'll pay you. $1 million? Cash. Tonight. McKenna's breath caught. You think you can buy me? The voice laughed. Everyone has a price. Not me, McKenna said. Silence. Then the voice turned cold. Then you'll regret this. The line went dead. McKenna sat in the darkness, his heart pounding. $1 million, enough to disappear, to start over, to raise her baby far away from this nightmare, but at what cost? Her dignity, her truth, her voice? No. McKenna had been silent her whole life. She wouldn't be silent anymore. The next morning, McKenna stood outside the press conference building. Cameras everywhere, reporters swarming. Cyrus stood beside her. You ready? He asked. McKenna nodded. Let's end this. They walked inside. The room was packed. Flashing lights, microphones, questions shouted from every direction. Cyrus stepped to the podium first. Thank you for coming, he said. I have a statement. The room went silent. My name is Cyrus Hawthorne, he began, and I'm here to expose a crime that's been hidden for too long. McKenna watched from the side. Her heart pounded. This was it. The moment everything changed. Cyrus continued. My brothers! The doors burst open. A man walked in. Same face, same build. But this time, McKenna recognized him immediately. The third brother. He smiled at the cameras, then spoke into his own microphone. Before my brother continues, he said calmly, I have something you all need to see. He held up a USB drive. Footage that will prove, he said, that everything he's about to say is a lie. McKenna's stomach dropped. Cyrus went pale. The room erupted, and McKenna realized they'd walked straight into his trap. The press conference exploded into chaos. Reporters shouted. Cameras flashed. The third brother stood at the back of the room, calm, controlled. Holding that USB drive like a grenade, Cyrus's voice cut through the noise. Don't listen to him. The brother smiled. Why not? Afraid of the truth, Cyrus? He walked forward slowly. Every eye in the room followed him. This drive, he said, holding it up, contains footage that proves my brother orchestrated everything. McKenna's heart stopped. He's lying, Cyrus said. The brother turned to the cameras. Am I? Then let's watch together. Security moved toward him, but he was faster. He plugged the USB into the main screen. Footage appeared. Cyrus, in his office, talking to someone off camera. I need her out of the picture, Cyrus's voice said. Permanently. McKenna's breath caught. The room went silent. Cyrus's face drained of color. That's not real, the brother finished. It looks pretty real to me. McKenna stared at the screen. Was it real or another manipulation? Before anyone could react, the brother spoke again. McKenna, he said, looking directly at her. You deserve the truth. He held up his phone. Meet me, alone, and I'll give you everything. Cyrus grabbed McKenna's arm. Don't. But the brother's message was already sent. McKenna's phone buzzed. West Wing, midnight, come alone. Her hands shook. The press conference dissolved into chaos. Security escorted them out. Back at Hawthorne Tower, Cyrus paced his office. You're not going, he said firmly. McKenna sat in silence. McKenna, Cyrus said, he's baiting you. I know, she whispered. Then why would you even consider? Because I need answers, McKenna interrupted. She looked at him. That footage, was it real? Cyrus's jaw tightened. No. Then prove it, McKenna said. Cyrus exhaled sharply. I can't. Not yet. McKenna stood. Then I'm going. No, Cyrus said. I won't let you. McKenna's voice was firm. You don't get to decide that. Cyrus stepped in front of her. He'll hurt you. He already did, McKenna said. And I survived. Cyrus's face softened. McKenna, please. But McKenna's mind was made up. I've been invisible my whole life, she said. I won't be anymore. Nia grabbed her hand. Then I'm coming with you. McKenna shook her head. No. He said alone. I don't care what he said, Nia insisted. McKenna squeezed her hand. I need to do this. Nia's eyes filled with tears. What if you don't come back? McKenna smiled sadly. Then you tell my story. That night, McKenna stood outside the West Wing. The same door she walked through weeks ago. The same place her nightmare began. Her phone buzzed. I'm waiting. McKenna took a breath and pushed the door open. The room was dark. A single lamp flickered on. The third brother stood by the window. You came, he said softly. McKenna's voice didn't shake. What do you want? He turned to face her. To tell you the truth. Which truth? McKenna asked. You've told so many lies. He smiled. Fair. He walked closer. McKenna didn't move. The footage at the press conference, he said. It was fake. McKenna's chest tightened. I know. He raised an eyebrow. You do? Yes, McKenna said, because I know Cyrus didn't plan this. The brother laughed. You're smarter than I thought. He circled her slowly. But here's what you don't know, he continued. The baby you're carrying. McKenna's hands moved to her stomach. It's not mine either. McKenna froze. What? The brother smiled. I never touched you, McKenna. Her breath caught. Then who? The brother with the scar, he said. The one sitting in jail right now. McKenna's knees weakened. You let him take the fall. Of course, the brother said. He was always disposable. McKenna's voice shook. Why are you telling me this? The brother stopped in front of her. Because I want you to understand, he said. This was never about you. He stepped closer. It was always about destroying Cyrus. McKenna's chest heaved. By using me. Yes, he said simply. McKenna's hands clenched. You're a monster. The brother shrugged. Maybe. Then he pulled out his phone. But I'm not done yet. He pressed play. Audio filled the room. Cyrus's voice. I'll pay whatever it takes. Just make her disappear. McKenna's heart dropped. That's real, the brother finished. Recorded 3 days ago. McKenna stared at him. You're lying. Am I? He asked. Or is Cyrus exactly who I said he was? Before McKenna could respond, the door burst open. Cyrus stood there, breathing hard. Get away from her. The brother smiled. Too late, brother. He held up his phone. She just heard everything. Cyrus's eyes met McKenna's. Whatever he played for you, was it real? McKenna whispered. Cyrus hesitated. That hesitation told her everything. Makina's world shattered. Again. Makina stared at Cyrus, waiting for an answer. Was it real? She asked again. Cyrus's voice cracked. I can explain, yes or no, Makina interrupted. The third brother smiled, enjoying every second. Cyrus exhaled sharply. Yes, but not how it sounds. Makina's heart shattered. You wanted me gone. No, Cyrus said desperately. I wanted you safe. Away from them. The brother laughed. Listen to him. Still lying. Makina's hands shook. She looked at the brother. You planned all of this. He nodded. Every moment. Why? Makina whispered. The brother's smile faded. Because Cyrus took everything from us. Our father's company. Our inheritance. Our name. He stepped closer to Cyrus. So I decided to take everything from him. Cyrus's jaw clenched. You used an innocent woman. Innocent? The brother scoffed. She's collateral, just like we were. Makina's voice cut through. I'm standing right here. Both men looked at her. And I'm done being your weapon, she continued. The brother tilted his head. Brave words, but what can you do? Makina reached into her pocket. Slowly. She pulled out her phone. I can do this. She held it up, recording. The brother's face went pale. You've been recording? He whispered. Makina's voice was steady. Every word. The brother lunged forward, but Cyrus was faster. He grabbed his brother, slamming him against the wall. Don't touch her, Cyrus growled. The brother struggled. You think this ends me? He hissed. I own half the city. Makina stepped forward. Not anymore. Sirens echoed outside. The brother froze. What did you do? He whispered. Cyrus's voice was cold. I called them the moment you sent that message. The brother's eyes widened. You set me up. No, Cyrus said. You set yourself up. The door burst open. Police rushed in. Hands up. The brother raised his hand slowly, eyes locked on Makina. You just made the biggest mistake of your life, he said quietly. Makina didn't flinch. No, you did. Officers cuffed him. As they led him away, he called back. This isn't over, Makina. The door slammed shut. Silence filled the room. Makina stood there, breathing hard. Cyrus turned to her. Are you okay? Makina shook her head. No. She looked at him. You said you'd pay to make me disappear. Cyrus's face fell. I meant disappear from danger, not from my life. Makina's eyes filled with tears. I don't know if I believe you. Cyrus stepped closer. Then let me prove it. Speaking truth to power costs everything. Would you pay that price? Before Makina could respond, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her blood ran cold. She opened it. A video message. The screen showed a woman. Elegant. Cold. Familiar. Hello, Makina, the woman said. Makina's breath caught. Who is that? Cyrus whispered. The woman continued. You think arresting my son ends this? Makina's hands trembled. My sons were pawns, the woman said calmly. But I'm the queen. She leaned closer to the camera. And queens don't lose. The video ended. Makina stared at the screen. Who was that? She whispered. Cyrus's face went pale. My mother. Makina's heart stopped. Your mother? Cyrus nodded slowly. She's supposed to be dead. Makina's voice shook. But she's not. No, Cyrus said. And if she's involved... He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Makina's phone buzzed again. Another message. You have 24 hours to disappear. Then another. Or I'll take everything. Makina looked at Cyrus. What does she want? Cyrus's jaw tightened. The company, the empire, everything. And she'll use me to get it, Makina whispered. Cyrus nodded. She'll destroy you to hurt me. Makina's hands moved to her stomach. The baby is leverage, Cyrus finished. McKenna's chest heaved. She'd fought so hard, exposed so much. And now, there was someone worse, someone who'd been pulling strings the entire time. "What do we do?" McKenna whispered. Cyrus's voice was firm. "We fight." McKenna looked at him. "How?" Before Cyrus could answer, the lights went out. Complete darkness. McKenna's heart stopped. "Cyrus? I'm here." Emergency lights flickered on. A figure stood in the doorway, the woman from the video, Cyrus's mother. She smiled, cold, controlled, terrifying. "Hello, son," she said softly. Then her eyes shifted to McKenna. "And you must be the maid who thinks she can destroy my family." McKenna's breath caught. The woman stepped into the room. "Let me make something clear," she said. "You will disappear, one way or another." Cyrus moved in front of McKenna. "You'll have to go through me first." His mother laughed. "Oh, darling, I already have." She held up a document. "Signed this morning," she said. "You're no longer CEO." Cyrus's face drained of color. "That's impossible." "Is it?" his mother asked. "The board voted unanimously." She smiled wider. "I own Hawthorne Industries now." McKenna's world tilted. This woman had been planning everything, and they'd walked right into her trap. The arrest made every headline. Hawthorne heir arrested, conspiracy, assault, fraud. McKenna watched the news from her hospital bed. The third brother's face plastered across every screen. Finally, justice. But McKenna's chest still felt tight, because his mother was still out there. And she wasn't done. A doctor entered the room, interrupting her thoughts. "How are you feeling?" the doctor asked gently. McKenna's hand moved to her stomach. "Tired." The doctor smiled. "That's normal. But I have good news." McKenna held her breath. "The baby's heartbeat is strong. Perfectly healthy." Tears filled McKenna's eyes. "Really?" The doctor nodded. "Despite everything you've been through, your baby is thriving." McKenna exhaled shakily. For the first time in weeks, something inside her softened. Her baby was okay. They were both okay. The door opened. Cyrus walked in. No suit, no power mask, just a man who looked exhausted. "Can I come in?" he asked softly. McKenna nodded. Cyrus sat in the chair beside her bed. "The doctor said the baby's fine," McKenna said. Relief washed over Cyrus's face. "Thank God." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Cyrus spoke. "I need to tell you something." McKenna's chest tightened. "What?" Cyrus looked at his hands. "I'm stepping down." McKenna blinked. "What?" "From the company," Cyrus said. "I'm resigning as CEO." McKenna stared at him. "Why?" Cyrus met her eyes. "Because power built on silence isn't worth keeping." McKenna's throat burned. "You're giving up everything?" Cyrus shook his head. "No, I'm choosing what matters." He leaned forward. "You deserve peace, McKenna. And so do I." McKenna's tears fell. "But your mother will face justice," Cyrus said firmly. "I'm meeting with lawyers tomorrow. She won't get away with this." McKenna nodded slowly. For the first time in months, she felt something she'd almost forgotten. Safety. Not complete, not perfect, but real. Cyrus stood to leave. "Get some rest," he said. But before he reached the door, McKenna called out. "Cyrus," he turned. "Thank you," she whispered, "for listening when it mattered." Cyrus's eyes softened. "I should have listened sooner." He left. McKenna closed her eyes, exhaustion finally catching up. She was about to drift off when a nurse entered. "Sorry to disturb you," the nurse said, "but there's someone asking for you." McKenna's heart dropped. "Who?" The nurse hesitated. She didn't give a name, but she said it's urgent. McKenna's hands trembled. What does she look like? Older woman, elegant, very composed. McKenna's blood ran cold. His mother. "Tell her I'm not here," McKenna said quickly. The nurse frowned. Are you sure? She seemed. Tell her I'm not here, McKenna repeated firmly. The nurse nodded and left. McKenna grabbed her phone with shaking hands. She texted Nia. She's here, at the hospital. Nia replied immediately. I'm coming. Don't leave that room. McKenna locked the door. Her heart pounded. Minutes passed like hours. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She opened it. A message. You can't hide forever. Another message. I know where you are. Then another. And I know what you're carrying. McKenna's breath caught. A photo came through. Of her hospital room. From outside the window. Right now. McKenna's hands shook as she looked at the window. The blinds were closed, but someone was out there, watching. She grabbed the call button, pressing it frantically. Help, she whispered when the nurse answered. Someone's outside my window. Security arrived within minutes. They checked the perimeter, found nothing. The area's clear, the guard said, but McKenna knew better. She wasn't safe. Not here, not anywhere. That night, Nia arrived and refused to leave. I'm staying, she said firmly. McKenna didn't argue. They kept the lights on, the door locked. But McKenna couldn't sleep. Every shadow felt like a threat. Every sound made her jump. At 3 a.m., her phone buzzed. She almost didn't look. But something made her. A video message. She pressed play. Cyrus's mother appeared on screen, sitting in a chair, calm, controlled. Hello, McKenna, she said softly. McKenna's chest tightened. You think arresting my son protects you? The woman smiled. He was always disposable. She leaned forward. But you? You're different. McKenna's breath shook. You have something I need, the woman continued. Her eyes dropped to McKenna's stomach. That child carries Hawthorne blood, which makes it mine. McKenna's hands flew to her stomach. You'll never touch my baby, she whispered. The woman's smile widened. We'll see. The video ended. McKenna stared at the screen, trembling. Nia grabbed her hand. We're leaving. Now. Where? McKenna whispered. Somewhere she can't find you. They packed quickly, but as they reached the door, it opened. A woman stood there. Not Cyrus's mother, someone else. Young, professional, cold eyes. McKenna? She asked. McKenna's voice shook. Who are you? The woman held up a badge. FBI. McKenna's heart stopped. You're under investigation, the woman said, for conspiracy to commit fraud. McKenna's world tilted. What? The woman's voice was flat. Mrs. Hawthorne filed charges this morning. Nia stepped forward. That's insane. McKenna's the victim. Not according to the evidence, the woman interrupted. She handed McKenna a document. You're being accused of blackmailing the Hawthorne family. McKenna's hands shook as she read. Fake bank transfers, forged emails, all with her name attached. This isn't real, McKenna whispered. The woman's face didn't change. You'll need to come with me. McKenna looked at Nia, then at her stomach. Everything she'd fought for, everything she'd survived, was being taken away. Again. McKenna sat in the FBI interrogation room for 3 hours. Cold, silent, alone. Nia wasn't allowed in. Cyrus wasn't there. Just McKenna and a table full of forged evidence. The door finally opened. But it wasn't the FBI agent. It was her, Cyrus's mother, elegant, composed, terrifying. She smiled as she sat across from McKenna. Hello, dear, she said softly. McKenna's jaw tightened. You can't be here. The woman laughed. I own half the people in this building. I can be anywhere. She folded her hands on the table. Let's talk. McKenna said nothing. The woman leaned forward. You've been very brave, she said. Exposing my sons, recording confessions, fighting back. Her smile faded. But bravery without strategy is suicide. McKenna's voice was steady. What do you want? The woman tilted her head. I want you to understand who you're fighting. She pulled out a tablet. My sons were pawns, she said. Useful, but disposable. She slid the tablet toward McKenna. Financial records filled the screen. Offshore accounts, shell companies, billions. I funded everything, the woman said, calmly. The plan, the manipulation, even the genetic tampering. McKenna's breath caught. You did this? The woman nodded. I needed Cyrus destroyed, and you were the perfect weapon. McKenna's hands clenched. Why? The woman's eyes hardened. Because he stole my empire. She stood, pacing slowly. My husband left everything to Cyrus. Not me, not his other sons. Just Cyrus. Her voice turned cold. So, I decided to take it back. McKenna stared at her. By ruining innocent people. The woman shrugged. Collateral damage. McKenna's voice shook with anger. I'm not collateral. I'm a person. The woman smiled. Are you? She sat back down. Because right now, the world sees you as a blackmailer, a liar, a woman who seduced a billionaire for money. McKenna's chest tightened. That's not true. Truth doesn't matter, the woman said. Only perception. She pulled out a checkbook. But I can fix this. She wrote something down, then slid it across the table. $5 million. McKenna stared at the number. Take it, the woman said. Disappear. Start over somewhere far away. McKenna's hands trembled. And if I don't? The woman's smile faded. Then I destroy you. Completely. She leaned forward. The FBI investigation? That's just the beginning. I'll make sure you lose custody of that baby. I'll make sure you're prosecuted. I'll make sure no one ever believes you. McKenna's tears fell. You're a monster. The woman nodded. Perhaps. But I'm a monster with power. She pushed the check closer. This is your last chance, McKenna. Take the money, or lose everything. McKenna looked at the check. $5 million. Enough to disappear. To protect her baby. To never look back. But at what cost? Her voice, her truth, her dignity? Some people want you quiet because your voice is dangerous. Don't let them win. McKenna picked up the check. The woman smiled. Smart girl. But McKenna didn't pocket it. She tore it in half. The woman's smile vanished. What are you doing? McKenna's voice was firm. I already survived worse than you. She stood. You can't buy me. You can't silence me. The woman's face hardened. You just made a fatal mistake. McKenna met her eyes. No, you did. She pulled out her phone, recording. The woman's face went pale. You've been recording this whole time? McKenna nodded. Every word. The woman lunged across the table, but the door burst open. Real FBI agents rushed in, not the ones bought by the Hawthorns, federal agents. Margaret Hawthorne, one said, you're under arrest. The woman's composure finally cracked. This is impossible. The lead agent held up a warrant. We've been investigating you for months. Tax fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. He gestured to McKenna. She just gave us the last piece we needed. They cuffed her. As they led her away, she turned back to McKenna. This isn't over, she hissed. McKenna's voice didn't shake. Yes, it is. The door closed. McKenna collapsed into the chair, shaking. The lead agent sat across from her. You did the right thing, he said. McKenna nodded, tears streaming. Am I free to go? The agent hesitated. Not yet. McKenna's heart dropped. What? The agent pulled out another file. There's one more person we need to talk about. He opened it. A photo. Of Cyrus. McKenna's breath caught. What about him? The agent's voice was careful. We need to know if he was involved. McKenna stared at the photo. Cyrus. The man who tried to protect her. Or the man who let this happen. Was he part of this? The agent asked. McKenna's mind raced. She thought about the recording. The make her disappear comment. She thought about the DNA test. The lies. The secrets. But she also thought about the moments he listened. protected, chose her. The agent leaned forward. McKenna, we need your testimony. Was Cyrus Hawthorne complicit? McKenna's hand moved to her stomach. This was it. The final choice. Tell the truth and potentially destroy Cyrus. Or protect him and risk more lies. McKenna looked at the agent. I need to see him first. The agent frowned. That's not protocol. I don't care, McKenna said. I need to look him in the eye. The agent hesitated, then nodded. One conversation. That's it. McKenna stood, her heart pounded, because whatever Cyrus said next would determine both their futures. 3 months later, McKenna stood before cameras, not as a maid. As herself. The press conference was her idea, not Cyrus's, not the lawyer's, hers. My name is McKenna, she began, voice steady, and I was silenced. The room went quiet. Reporters leaned forward. I was invisible my whole life, she continued. A black immigrant cleaning floors for people who didn't see me as human. Her hands rested on her growing stomach. But silence protects abusers, and I'm done being silent. Cameras flashed. She told her story, not all of it, but enough. The West Wing, the brother, the manipulation, the DNA test that proved she was used as a weapon. I was drugged, assaulted, framed, McKenna said, by people who thought power made them untouchable. She looked directly into the cameras, but they were wrong. Behind her, Cyrus stood, not at the podium, not leading, just supporting. He'd offered to speak first. She'd refused. This was her truth to tell. When she finished, reporters erupted with questions. Do you blame Cyrus Hawthorne? McKenna paused. I blame the people who used me. Cyrus and I are still figuring out what trust looks like. Will you keep the baby? McKenna's jaw tightened. That's not your business, but yes. Are you seeking financial compensation? McKenna shook her head. I'm seeking justice. There's a difference. The press conference ended. Outside, Nia hugged her. You did it, Nia whispered. McKenna exhaled. Yeah. But as they walked to the car, McKenna's phone exploded. Social media, news outlets, messages. Some believed her. Finally, someone speaking truth. Her courage is everything, but others didn't. Gold digger. She's lying for attention. Hawthorne family doesn't deserve this. McKenna read a few, then turned her phone off. You okay? Nia asked. McKenna nodded. I don't care anymore. And she meant it. For the first time, other people's opinions didn't define her. She'd spoken. That was enough. Later that night, Cyrus came to see her. They sat in Nia's living room, quiet, careful. Thank you, Cyrus said, for not throwing me under the bus. McKenna looked at him. I told the truth, that's all. Cyrus nodded. The FBI cleared me. Officially. McKenna's chest tightened. Good. Cyrus hesitated. What happens now, with us? McKenna took a breath. I don't know. Cyrus's face fell. But, McKenna continued, I'm willing to see. Cyrus met her eyes. What does that mean? McKenna's voice was firm. It means you walk beside me, not ahead, not behind. Cyrus nodded slowly. I can do that. McKenna stood. Then we start there. Before Cyrus could respond, someone knocked. Nia answered. A courier stood there with an envelope. For McKenna, he said. Nia brought it inside. McKenna opened it with shaking hands. Court documents. She scanned the pages. Then her breath caught. What is it? Cyrus asked. McKenna looked up. Hawthorne Industries. It's being dismantled. Cyrus went pale. What? McKenna handed him the documents. Federal investigation. Your mother's assets are being seized. The company's being broken up. Cyrus read, face draining of color. This is everything, he whispered. The empire. The legacy. Gone. McKenna watched him process. How do you feel? She asked. Cyrus was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at her. Relieved, McKenna blinked. Relieved, Cyrus nodded. That empire was built on lies, on silence, on people like you being invisible. He set the documents down. Maybe it's better this way. McKenna's chest tightened. For the first time, she saw him clearly. Not as a billionaire, as a man trying to be better. What will you do now? She asked. Cyrus smiled sadly. I don't. No. Maybe start over. McKenna nodded. Me too. They sat in comfortable silence. The war was over, but the healing had just begun. Later, alone in her room, McKenna placed her hand on her stomach. You were never a mistake, she whispered. Her baby kicked. Strong. Alive. McKenna smiled through tears. She'd lost so much, but she'd gained something more important. Her voice, her truth, her future. The next morning, McKenna's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her heart stopped. She almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. A message. Congratulations on your victory. McKenna's blood ran cold. Another message. But there's one thing you should know. A photo loaded. Hospital records. From the night she was assaulted. But something was circled. A timestamp. McKenna's breath caught. The timestamp showed someone else entered the West Wing that night. Not the brother. Someone new. The final message came through. You got the wrong person. Again. McKenna's hands trembled. She stared at the photo. At the timestamp. At the name partially visible in the corner, and her world tilted. Because the name wasn't a brother. It was a woman. And McKenna recognized her. McKenna stared at the name on the hospital record. Her hands shook. The woman who entered the West Wing that night wasn't a stranger. It was someone she knew, someone she trusted. But before she could process it, her phone rang. Nia. McKenna, get to the hospital. Now. McKenna's heart stopped. What's wrong? It's time, Nia said. The baby's coming. Everything else disappeared. McKenna grabbed her bag and ran. The delivery room was chaos, pain, pressure, fear, but also something else. Hope. You're doing great, the nurse said. Just a little more. McKenna screamed, then cried, then pushed, and suddenly, a baby's cry filled the room. McKenna's chest heaved. It's a girl, the doctor said softly. They placed her on McKenna's chest, small, warm, alive. McKenna's tears fell freely. Hi, she whispered. I'm your mama. The baby's tiny, hand wrapped around McKenna's finger. And in that moment, everything made sense. Every fight, every tear, every moment of terror. It was for this, for her. Cyrus stood in the doorway. He didn't come closer, just watched. McKenna looked up. You can come in, she said softly. Cyrus stepped forward carefully. He looked at the baby, then at McKenna. She's beautiful, he whispered. McKenna nodded. She is. Cyrus's voice cracked. What will you name her? McKenna looked down at her daughter. Hope, she said. Her name is Hope. Cyrus smiled. That's perfect. He sat beside the bed. Not too close, but close enough. Thank you, he said quietly, for letting me be here. McKenna met his eyes. You earned it. They sat in silence. No words needed. Just peace. Later, when Hope was sleeping, McKenna whispered to her. You were never a mistake. She kissed her daughter's forehead. You were always meant to be here. Nia entered with flowers. How are you feeling? McKenna smiled. Tired, but happy. Nia looked at Hope. She's perfect. McKenna nodded. She is. This story ends, but others are still being silenced. Don't scroll past without remembering that. Days passed. McKenna recovered. Hope grew stronger. And slowly McKenna began to heal. Not completely, not perfectly, but real healing takes time. One afternoon, McKenna received an envelope. Legal documents. She opened it nervously, then smiled. The Hawthorne estate had been liquidated. And part of the settlement, a trust fund for hope, managed by McKenna, not by Cyrus, not by anyone else, hers to control. Cyrus had kept his word. That evening, McKenna stood by the window, Hope sleeping in her arms. The city glowed below. Once, she was invisible in that city, a shadow cleaning floors, a woman no one saw. But now she was undeniable. Her story had been told, her voice had been heard, and no one would ever use her silence again. Cyrus visited one last time. "I'm leaving," he said, "starting over somewhere new." McKenna nodded. "Good." He looked at Hope. Can I stay in touch?" McKenna hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, but on my terms." Cyrus smiled. "I wouldn't have it any other way." He turned to leave. "Cyrus," McKenna called. He stopped. "Thank you," she said, "for finally listening." Cyrus's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you for not giving up." Then he left, and McKenna was finally free. Months passed. McKenna found a new apartment, started a new job. Not cleaning, but speaking. Telling her story at women's shelters, at immigrant centers, at places where people needed to know they weren't alone. Hope grew, smiled, laughed, and McKenna realized something. She'd won. Not because she destroyed the Hawthorns, but because she reclaimed herself. One night, McKenna's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her heart stopped, but this time she wasn't afraid. She opened it. A message. "The truth about that night is still buried." Another message. "And I'm the only one who knows it." A photo loaded. The woman from the hospital records, standing in the shadows of the West Wing. That night, McKenna's breath caught. Because the woman in the photo was someone she never suspected. Someone who'd been there the whole time. Someone who smiled in her face. The final message came through. "Want to know what really happened? Meet me where it all began." McKenna stared at the screen. The West Wing, where her nightmare started. She should ignore it. She should let it go. But something inside her needed to know, needed to finish this. Once and for all, McKenna looked at Hope, sleeping peacefully, then at the message, and made her choice. She texted back, "I'll be there," because McKenna had learned something. Silence protects abusers, and she would never be silent again. The end. Or is it?